Jennifer Laine is the Executive Director of the San Benito County Arts Council, and she's joining us on Big Blend Radio today to talk about the area's art scene, the public art, and even an art walk that you can do in downtown Hollister, their education programs, and also the upcoming Spring Open Studios Tour that's happening in April 2018. Now, if you're wondering where San Benito County is, it's in Central California, just east of Monterey. It's a beautiful destination. It's the gateway, or the eastern gateway community to Pinnacles National Park. There's a wine tasting trail. There's all kinds of dining and boutique shops to go and visit, all kinds of wonderful restaurants. There's all kinds of outdoor activities to enjoy as well, and some wonderful communities to visit like historic Hollister, San Juan Bautista, Tres Pinos, and Paisanos. So a lot of great places to enjoy. So check out discoversanbenitocounty.com for all your travel information. And for the arts, go to sanbenitoarts.org. Jennifer, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Hey, it's really beautiful where you live, and I'm really glad that the arts is such a big part of, the life and the culture of San Benito County. It's the first thing we noticed in downtown Hollister was all the art and mural and public art everywhere. Can you give us a little overview of the actual Arts Council and why the San Benito County Arts Council even started up?
Yes, I'd be happy to. So our Arts Council, we're an umbrella arts organization for the entire county. We're a private nonprofit, so we're not a branch of government. But basically our job is really to, throughout the county, to increase access and participation and involvement in the arts for all residents. And we do that in a number of ways. We have a number of programs that we run directly, and then we also work hard to support local artists and arts organizations in their own work and their own practice. So like you mentioned, some of our most exciting programs include arts and education. We run 2 art spaces in downtown Hollister. We coordinate public art in collaboration with the city of Hollister, and a number of other exciting initiatives and projects.
And when it comes to the arts, are you, celebrating all the arts, right, from performing arts to visual arts, a little bit of everything?
Yes, so we do a little bit of everything. Our goal really is to showcase and provide opportunities, in all artistic mediums. So that includes in the performing arts, visual arts, literary arts, and digital media as well.
Excellent, excellent. And then what about the education side for the youth? Because that's something, we see across the country that a lot of the programs in schools are being cut. I don't know what it's like in San Benito County, but I do know the arts are in trouble in schools in a lot of other areas. Is that something you focus on as well?
Yes, absolutely. So you're right that the arts have, over the last several years, taken a hit throughout the entire nation, but we're really seeing a resurgence, especially here in California.
Awesome.
There's a big movement in STEAM education, so that's science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. We're seeing a lot of schools incorporate this approach and really helping kids learn and develop skills for the 21st century, and we're definitely a part of that movement. And also, too, we acknowledge that in rural communities, our kids here need access to the arts really more than ever because, here locally if kids want to participate in dance or music, oftentimes they will have to travel outside of the community to have access to these kind of opportunities, and then you're really talking about families that can afford to pay for these lessons outside of the community, that have time to travel. And so we try to, as much as possible, embed art programs into the schools because that is really the main way to make it accessible to all. So our arts and education program is by far our most robust program that we have, where we bring performing artists into the schools. Sometimes it's the first time that students are seeing, a live performance of taiko music or of multicultural storytelling or dance. And then we also do a number of artists in residencies where we have professional teaching artists working with students in the classroom on a number of arts topics. It could be lessons on poetry. We have an environmental literacy project where kids are learning about the environment through creative writing. So this is kind of arts integration where you're, integrating the arts with other core topics. We also do, just kind of classic arts too, watercoloring and, visual arts programs as well.
Excellent.
Yeah, and
I mean, this is exciting to see that it's actually going into the schools with people coming in and doing performances for them and stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's great too. And part of it is with a lot of the new teachers, because the arts was taken out not only of the school day curriculum, but also out of the training for teachers as they're going through their credentialing process. So part of the real great advantage of putting teaching artists into the classrooms is that teachers get to learn alongside them as well and feel more confident in doing more arts activities themselves. So we also run another strand of teacher workshops on arts integration, and then I'm also always really excited to talk about a few of our really specific programs that address arts accessibility for at-risk youth. So we run one project called the Dreams Project, where we do year-round artists and residencies in our county juvenile hall, and then also at San Andreas Continuation High School for at-risk high school kids. And then we also run our own after-school arts programs at our space in downtown Hollister at the Annex.
Very nice. And then I saw something. Don't you do a veterans program too, or starting a veterans program?
We do. So we've been very fortunate to partner closely with the California Arts Council, and they have a number of grant-funded initiatives to fund programs that really encourage certain types of arts engagement. So one of them is called the Veterans Initiative in the Arts, and we've applied for and successfully received this grant the last 2 years that really looks to engage the veterans in the arts and then also communicate veterans' experiences and stories to the broader community. So last year was the first time we got the grant, and we partnered with our local Veterans of Foreign Wars, so the VFW, and also our American Legion, and we did a digital storytelling project where we recorded and made videos of local veterans' stories and experiences and then shared those kind of in a public film screening. And then we also commissioned a large mural on the back side of our Veterans Memorial Building in downtown Hollister. And the content was created in collaboration between the artist and both veterans groups. And then the artist himself is also a veteran. So he's a younger artist, a younger veteran that served 3 tours in Iraq and resides here locally. So it was a very meaningful project.
Wow, that's amazing. And that memorial building, too, is beautiful, and it's actually part of the art walk that you have. Nancy and I did that, and it's amazing, walking to downtown. It's some good exercise there, I'm just saying. And it's really neat because it tells the story of Hollister and San Benito County walking around there. And that building is just so beautiful. But that's part of the tour, of the walking tour, is actually that building. I remember the bald eagle.
Yes, that's right. So there's a terrazzo image of an eagle in the front of the Veterans Memorial Building, which is really a landmark here in downtown Hollister. It's a beautiful building, and it's used very regularly by community organizations, by local government, and then it's also rented out for special private events. So, the building itself is part of the tour with the eagle in the front, and now we have the new mural on the back. And then really you can go around from there, walking around downtown Hollister, and see all different kinds of forms and subject matter of public art.
Yeah, you've got about, over 20 places that you can go and see the different, 22. Well, it's more now because you've got that new mural, pieces of art in the downtown. And I think this is so neat when you have a public walking tour, when people can do it themselves or go on a led tour if there's anything like that out there. I know they do that with the architecture and historic buildings, and you can do both or, just take one walk at a time. It's healthy for people to get out and see this, but they're also learning the stories of the community. Like it's the birthplace of the American biker, Hollister is, so you get to see murals of that too. One of my favorites was Ronald Rocha, The Dream of Humanity. That is one of the coolest murals, isn't it? It's on a grocery store, as I recall.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's on Hollister Super, which is kind of more of our one of the more kind of Latino markets, in that they stock a lot of products from Mexico and food for Mexican cooking, and it just has this beautiful mural, just very vibrant on the front, and that's a great place to get started. That's a little bit at the north end of our downtown, And when you download the Public Art Walking Tour, which is available on our website, it's also available through the Chamber and the Hollister Downtown Association. So this was the three of us, along with the City of Hollister, collaborated to create the Downtown Public Art Walking Tour. And, yeah, as you mentioned, so everything is very walkable. It's probably, I would say, maybe a mile, circumference or, across. And within that, there's just a high concentration of different pieces that you can see. The most recent pieces actually have yet to be added, so that includes the Veterans Mural I was just talking about. And we also this last summer commissioned 5 new utility box murals that have yet to be added to the Public Art Walking Tour. So we'll be doing that very soon.
That's cool. And you also have, you've got the totem pole. That's the furthest you're going to walk from the downtown is that totem pole.
Actually, that's true. Yeah, and that's up on Park Hill, which is gorgeous. So if you can make that walk, and I encourage you to do so, you'll be rewarded with a beautiful view over downtown Hollister. It's really the highest point in our downtown, and there's a great park up there for picnicking and a great new playground for kids. And you can also even hike behind Park Hill. There are some trails back there that are really lovely.
I liked it up there because you've got that garden, too. So there's like a little community garden, and I thought, that's neat, man. And that's the thing, your area is also very, it's big on agriculture, a lot of organic agriculture, which is really nice. And so I saw a lot of that in the art, too, on the utility boxes. And so it just is like, hey, we're celebrating who we are, which is neat. One of the pieces I saw also was in loving memory and spirit of Eric Tugnazzini. I don't want to say his name wrong. Do you know about that piece?
Yes, I know a bit. So the Arts Council, we weren't directly involved in that piece, but having grown up here, I do know Eric. So he was a local community member who was just very active in the community. He was very involved with Sacred Heart Church and with the school there. And when he passed away, his family, along with our local community foundation, raised money to create a bronze statue in his honor. And he was known for riding around town on his bike, and so it's just a nice nod to him and to his family.
And also with this whole art walk, and I know it was all these organizations coming together. One of my favorites was actually you get to go underground, go underneath the street. It's pretty cool. Are the artists local? Where did the artists come from to put all this together?
Yeah, so most of the artists are local, so especially with the pieces. So not all of the pieces were commissioned by the Arts Council, and kind of what I mentioned in the beginning, I can elaborate slightly more on. So the Arts Council, we're about 10 years old. There was a county arts commission that was founded in the early 80s that was around for about 20 years or so, and then it went away for a period of time. And there was about 10 years where the county did not have kind of like a umbrella arts organization to really promote the arts throughout the community. So after the Arts Commission went away, there was definitely a bit of a vacuum, and so a number of artists and art supporters and local leaders got together and said, we really need to do something about this, and so they founded the Arts Council. So we are just about 10 years old. We're kind of like, I like to say that we're not quite a baby organization anymore. We're more in our toddler phase. But so on the art walk itself, there are pieces that were created and commissioned through different periods of sort of the arts growth and development. Not all were commissioned by us. Now, as a segue into working with local artists, so as the Arts Council, we are very enthusiastic about working with and supporting local artists. So most of the pieces, especially that were done within the last few years, have been created by local artists. We have a lot of local talent, both by more seasoned professional artists and then a lot of emerging talent as well.
Oh, neat. That's good to hear. And I think, when you live in such a beautiful area, the arts go magically with it. That's kind of
I mean, we're known, as you say, we're known primarily for agriculture, and then on the kind of cultural side, we're known, too, as the birthplace of the American biker. And what's really developing now is, arts and culture and we're so happy to see that growing.
Now let's talk about the local arts, because one of the things too that I was looking on your website, and everyone again at sanbenitoarts.org, you have the Open Studios tour coming up. I think it's April 14th through 15th in 2018, and so is this something where it's a tour where, like those self-guided like driving tours where you follow a map and go to different artists' studios and galleries? Is that how it works?
Yes, yeah. So the Open Studios Art Tour, it's really a time for people to, get out of their homes and go see, not just see artwork, but see how art is created. So we have a big kind of education component. This encompasses the entire county. And our county, in terms of square miles, is quite large. It's well over, I want to say it's around maybe 1,500 or 1,600 square miles. We only have a population of 52,000. So a lot of that, population is concentrated in the towns of Hollister, San Juan, and Aromas. And with Open Studios, it takes place in all parts of the county. So we have artists participating in North County, and it's gorgeous out there. So not only do you drive out to see the artists, but you get to see really the landscape and the farming community throughout the county. And then in Aromas, we have a very active group of artists that participate every year and that also do things throughout the year on their own. So the Aromas Hills Artisans, they're a very active collective of artists based in Aromas, which is a tri-county area. So Aromas butts up on Monterey County and Santa Cruz, and a lot of those artists will participate in all three Open Studios. So they'll do Santa Cruz Open Studios, which is in the fall, and Monterey County, and then they'll also do San Benito County as well. So what's nice about Open Studios is you see a whole range of visual artwork, everything from, something more on the, craft or artisan side of the spectrum to, classic oil painting and sculpture.
Really nice. And that's the one thing I think too is when people get to meet the artist, sometimes I know they'll show them how this is how they painted this, or they get to have that a deeper connection to art and understand the art process too with this kind of thing, and get to see the area.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So a lot of the artists, the event takes place in their studios. Sometimes there are group studios set up. And so they will have their tools out. They'll often create storyboards so people can see the artist. They'll do demonstrations. They'll have all kinds of different materials in addition to the artwork. And then it's a great opportunity, too, if you're looking to purchase artwork for your home or you're looking for gifts. It's a great chance to go out and buy directly, from the source and build your arts collection.
And I love that you're doing it in spring, too, because you guys get a lot of wildflowers out there. It's like April is such a beautiful time of year in San Benito County. So people, you're going to get inspired to get out there and start playing their paintings somewhere.
Yeah, that's right. Every now and then we'll have a rainy Open Studios, but it's pretty rare. Generally, it almost feels kind of like the first really spring to summer-like weekend. I've been out so many times in April where it's warm and you're driving with the windows down, and it just feels so good to be out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on Big Blend Radio and giving us the inside scoop on the arts of San Benito County. I think what you're doing is excellent with education being at the forefront and promoting the local artists as well, and definitely the public art walk is just something, it's a great way to get outside, get that fresh air in, and learn more about the area's history and culture, the people, and, go shopping and go eat at one of the amazing restaurants, because you guys have some good food. You celebrate the culinary arts pretty well. In Hollister,
yes, we definitely do. Yeah, we're close to the source. Yeah,
and wine too. Like art and wine go hand in hand. So that's another
Absolutely.
good thing.
Yeah.
Again, everybody, you can go to sanbenitoarts.org to learn more. Especially if you're an artist in the area, you might want to contact them to be part of the Open Studios tour. And also for area information, you can go to discoversanbenitocounty.com, and both websites will also help you get the maps for the walking tour. Thanks so much for joining us.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.